But today, we are going to talk about how to break through these learning blocks in English. Let's jump right in.
My name is Andrea.
Hi, I'm Tomoya. So before we start this episode, just a quick note. This is more like a friendly talk, sharing ideas and tips.
Yeah, and also our experiences as well.
Yes. So Andrea-san, could you explain the meaning of plateau in English?
Sure. When you start out learning a new language or, a new musical instrument or, whatever, you don't know anything, right? You start at zero. And so, of course, that first phase, you learn a lot. You're learning a lot and you're advancing very quickly. You're going up. But then after a while, even though you are actually still learning, it feels like you're not. But it's that feeling that people call a plateau. Right? How about you? When did you have a plateau?
I feel like I've been in a plateau for several years. Maybe because I've been sticking with the same study method without challenging myself. What do you think, Andrea-san?
That's probably true. And to be honest, I've also been in a plateau for several years because I don't study actively.
Right.
So at least you study. I don't even study anymore. I'm kind of at a point where I can comfortably have a conversation in Japanese and understand, most of it. That doesn't mean I know everything. My grammar is still poor. I still make a lot of mistakes, and I can't read a lot of kanji sometimes. So I do need to study, but I don't. So in my case, it's a self-inflicted plateau. In your case, you are studying, but you haven't changed your study methods.
Right.
So,
that's my problem.
Yeah. So that probably is the reason.
Yes.
Why. So
yes.
if you, for example, if you switch up the way you're studying or you switch up the kind of stimulation you're giving yourself in English, that would solve your problem, I think.
Yes. So to break through your plateau, we need to find out what are the problems. So in that previous video podcast, someone shared her idea to brush up speaking English. She practiced speaking to herself in a video, while she's making her own YouTube video.
Okay. Yes, I did see that comment, and I thought it was interesting. Yes. When I read that comment, I thought, oh, that's a great technique. What is it in Japanese? Hitorigoto?
Hitorigoto, yes.
Hitorigoto.
Yes.
Talking to yourself. And I used to do that too when I was learning Japanese as well. But it's good because it gets your mind into the foreign language, right? It gets your mind into, like if you're speaking English to yourself, your mind is working in English.
Right.
So even though you might not be learning difficult words or difficult phrases, your mind is engaging in English. And I think that's important. Yes.
It is. Shall we list up ways to break through this plateau?
Sure. I think that might be helpful for some people. Yep. So one thing is obviously, like Tomoya just mentioned, identifying that you have a plateau and finding out what exactly the problem is. Trying to recognize if you're in that situation and what you can do about it, right? So how can people recognize if they're in a plateau? I mentioned that I just have a feeling, like I feel like I'm not making progress, right?
Yes. So recording yourself is the way to go.
Okay, that's for speaking skills.
Yeah, speaking skill.
Okay.
But I don't know much about how to develop grammar skills.
Yes, you do.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
Can you?
It's studying.
Yes.
Well, in my opinion, and there are many opinions, I'm not the only opinion, there are two really good ways to kind of break out of a grammar plateau. One is to get a textbook and study. And in my case, at the time, I was studying to take the Nihongo Noryoku Shiken, N1, the level 1, the highest level. And So I got a textbook to study, and that textbook has a lot of very old grammar that's not being used anymore, really. But I had to learn it for the test. So I studied as much as I can, as much as I could, and then what I didn't understand, I would just go and ask someone. So maybe if you have someone you can ask questions to, ask grammar questions to, if there's a native speaker that you're friends with, or you can ask us online, or whatever. Find an online tutor. Like, have a tutor would be nice.
Like getting feedback from other people is, another factor.
Yeah, I was going to mention that was another good technique. So language specialists have studied how people learn the best. And one of the best ways to learn new grammar is, like you mentioned, find someone you can speak with. When you make a mistake, you say something, you make a mistake, have that person, tell them you want feedback. Tell them you want to know where your mistakes are. And then, because there's a context, there's a situation, you're talking about a conversation, it's not just an example sentence in a book, it's a real situation, then you remember the word from the context.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, when we're in this situation, we're talking about this topic, then I use this word or this grammar. Yeah. And if you make a mistake and someone corrects you, when you're corrected, you'll remember it better.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good technique.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to do because you need another person.
Right.
But there's online platforms you can use if you don't have foreign friends.
And I won't mention the last answer to the question, which is taking a break from learning English. Because your brain needs energy sometimes. And this is what I feel sometimes. I think a plateau is a break time for your brain.
Oh, that's an interesting theory.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that might be helpful, actually, because you can study too much and you can put too much pressure and burn yourself out. So, yeah, taking a break is good.
So while your brain absorbing knowledge, your brain synapses are rewiring and making a new route to adding, information. So it'll take some time to boost up your skills.
Okay. Have you ever taken a break from studying English?
Yeah, quite often.
Okay. When was the last break you took? Yesterday. No.
Yesterday. I'm the same as you. I'm not studying actively.
Okay, you're more active than I am, though, I think.
Maybe I'm active.
You're a little more active than I am, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm not like studying English everyday basis.
Okay.
So I'm taking break.
Okay.
Quite often.
Okay. I mean, I'm not studying actively now either. I'm on a very long break. But yeah, I mean, if I need to, I will study. And I do frequently study Japanese when I need to. Yeah.
So don't feel pressure. You might need a break sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's better than burning out and just throwing it away completely.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Shall we wrap up for this episode?
Sure. So before we just close down, let's just kind of recap our main points today, or kind of summarize our main points. So basically, we decided that having a plateau in language learning is normal and it's okay. But if you want to, some ways to overcome that are seeking feedback when you study, getting someone's assistance with identifying your mistakes and helping you overcome them, challenging yourself, taking on new motivations, like have a goal and study towards that goal, and then also take a break. Let your brain relax a bit sometimes.
So that's it for today's episode, but don't forget to catch our next episode.
This is CrossTalk signing off, bringing you English your way every week.
Keep listening and keep shining.
Bye.